How to become a gentleman villain. Janica, amazed as she looked at her new cabin in the woods, said, Wow. As it sparkled in the light, she continued, I didn't know it could be built this fast. Wow. Mug and the others were exhausted. Mug muttered weakly, This fire spirit, Mug, fire spirit, Mug, that fire. Janica looked at them in concern. Guys, I told you to take it easy. Still exhausted, Mug said, No, Tarkin. Never mind. I think we can ascend now. Have a happy camp life. That'll be enough for us. That's all we need. As the spirits ascended, Janica called out, Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. She smiled wistfully. You're just being unsummoned. This feels strange, but thanks. A few moments later, Janica picked up a stick and began writing on the ground. She paused, tapping her chin. The words cohabitation took form in front of her cabin. Blushing, she spun the end of her braided hair between her fingers and whispered excitedly, Cohabitation. Tohabitation. Suddenly, the door of Ed Roth-Taylor's cabin creaked open. Janica blinked. Ed? But instead of Ed, Lucy stepped out, stretching her arms with a wide yawn. She rubbed her sleepy eyes, then glanced at Janica. Janica froze, her face heating up. Ah! Lucy's gaze dropped to the words scrawled on the ground. Cohabitation. A smirk played on her lips. Proudly, she coughed and cleared her throat. Ahem. To herself, she mused, cohabitation is nothing compared to sleeping together. Elsewhere, a system notification flashed. Basic aspectual magic, a new article has been revealed. New. Aspectual magic, aspectual type magic manifestation property conversion. Level 0 death immunity. Level 0 time prison. Level 0 long distance teleportation. Level 0 forced concentration. Level 0 favor manifestation. Level 0 seduction. Level 0 as Ed Roth-Taylor conjured his magic, Marilda observed with interest. Oh ho. But then the magic fizzled out. Marilda sighed. Another fail? It looks difficult to use just by the looks of it, she tilted her head. Can you even get a grasp on the mana flow? Meanwhile, Lucy snored softly on Ed's lap. Ed exhaled. Not sure. I have to try at least. Lucy stirred awake and stretched. Yawn. For aspectual magic, it's important to understand the principles first. Magic is a study where both theory and senses coexist. You'll get a feel for it after repeated practice. She lazily lifted a hand, and suddenly all of Ed's tools floated into the air, levitating effortlessly. Ed's eyes widened. Wow, looks like you've been practicing too. Lucy shrugged. Yeah, 2 or 3 times. Ed reached out and gently ruffled her head. Lucy jolted. Huh? Ed chuckled. I'm sure that's the case for a genius like you. Meanwhile, Lucy's mind was racing. Who would have known that Glock's introduction to aspectual magic would exist? I thought of it as magic that couldn't be learned in the game. Aspectual magic requires the ability to manipulate time, space, and the mind with ease. At its peak, it's the greatest in power. But because it goes against providence and the natural order, it's the most difficult and unresearched magic. Apart from the danger, it's hard to understand. Lucy has learned it through intuition, so it'll be difficult for her to teach. It would have been great if I had Professor Glass. Yeah, if Professor Glass were alive. Ed let out a tired sigh. Ha! Suddenly, Jix burst in, shouting in disbelief. What? Another woman? His arms flailed as he dropped a stack of books. Even if you have large aspirations as a man. Marilda blinked in confusion as she watched Jix panic. Jix huffed. Who knows what kind of hell you'll really face at this rate? Marilda pouted. Why? I was having so much fun reading this. With a snap of his fingers, Ed made Marilda vanish. Jix scratched his head awkwardly. I apologize. It was the spirit from last time. I jumped to conclusions. Ed folded his arms. What is it? Jix sighed and held up the books. These are the old magic books you asked for. They need to be scrapped. Ed nodded. Give my thanks to Elka. I need to start from the basics, so borrowing them each time would be annoying. He noticed how heavy the stack looked. It must have been heavy, so thanks. I should do something for you. Jix waved him off. It's fine, but if you really insist. He grinned. What about doing student council work with me? Ed arched a brow. I'm flattered, but because of the previous incident. Tanya. Jix cut him off. No, the student council president trusts you quite a lot. She seemed to want to put other people she trusts near her. So, I'm asking if you'd want to work as part of the student council. Ed leaned back. Is it okay to be so half-assed about its formation? Jix scoffed. It's not half-assed. Since this is the first time in Sylvania history that a first year has become the student council president, she's planning on making the cabinet the best it can be. The lady from Correll County in the 3rd year and the 4th year top student, Deke, have already joined. and in the future she wants first-year magic faculty's top student, Joseph, third-year top assistant, Annis, and fourth-year top alchemy faculty student, Dorothy. And you too. She's only gathering trustworthy and talented people. But you're going to reject it? Jix sat down, waiting for a response. Ed tapped his fingers against the table. Jix smirked. You do magic engineering, spirit sorcery, stamina training, camping, and academy scholarship student work. And you're also training in a new type of magic, so there's no helping it. Jix stretched his arms. Oh, a new hut, he shook his head. I expected it, but the student council president will be disappointed. Ed narrowed his eyes. He expected IIT, he sighed inwardly. After saving Tanya and having the scenario turn into something unknown, small predictions feel meaningless. Jix joining the student council was unexpected in the first place, and the entire list he stated was unexpected. His eyes flickered toward the horizon. According to the timeline, the joint combat training will be happening soon. Episode 2, The Failed Swordsman of Sylvania's Second Joint Combat Training. This is the biggest event before the third act's final showdown, Lucy's subjugation, Ed Roth-Taylor thought to himself. This event, which takes place for the second-generation 9-year seniors, the same generation as the protagonist, features an incident where the first-year alchemy top student, Claude, loses in the final battle and drinks the forbidden drug, evil god's blood. I remember that event well. It had an unpleasant ending. However, the scenario is now beyond my control. Whether it follows the path I know or diverges in a completely new direction, that remains unknown. In another scene, a massive carriage rolled forward. Unless mages have spent the entire night casting weight lightning magic, this thing would never move, Ed mused. The might of the forces guarding it is akin to an army, so the Holy City's citizens call it the Wheeled Palace. Because of the immense resources it consumes, this palace rarely strays far from the Holy Imperial capital. Two figures sat atop the carriage. Archbishop Verdio sighed. It's farther than I expected. It's a relief that we can observe the Saintess situation from here. Ho ho ho. Holy Pope Eldine nodded. Yes, thanks to your plan to visit the nearby noble territories, we were able to make this happen. The planning was perfect. We'll arrive at Sylvania soon. Tanya Roth-Taylor looked at them seriously. Since the Holy Pope himself is visiting, there must be no issues with the preparations, right? There's so much to do. She glanced at the documents in her hands. But the truth is, Holy Pope Eldine, who governs the holy city of Carpia, and Archbishop Verdio, who serves as his right hand, are both visiting for more than just public appearances. Their goal is to spread the word of Telos and perform new baptisms, but those are merely formalities. A student rushed past. Bring that this way. Tanya turned to another paper. And this is what really matters, isn't it? She held up the meeting request. They're worried about Saintess Clarice. She's the heart of the order. But wait, there's another meeting request. She furrowed her brows. Who does the Holy Pope want to meet? She scanned the document again. Second year. Adele? Who is that? Anyway, plan my schedule so that I can meet the Saintess, she instructed. Kylie, her assistant, quickly responded, yes. Meanwhile, Saintess Clarice sat quietly, deep in thought. Today, the Holy Pope will be visiting us from the Holy Imperial capital, which means instead of appearing as Kylie, I must once again present myself as the real Saintess to the students. She turned to her companion. Belle, today is the day of the joint combat training, right? Belle Maya nodded. Yes, fortunately it coincides with the Holy Pope's visit. Clarice sighed. That's unfortunate. I was really looking forward to interacting with the other grades. Inside, her thoughts swirled. I don't want to return to the Holy Imperial capital. Student life feels like a dream, and I haven't even met the person I was supposed to yet. She gazed out the window, the girl who commands the holy fire, the one always staring off into the open world, the wandering minstrel, Adele. I took many walks, hoping to run into second years, she murmured, but because she's constantly on the move, it's hard to find her, even here. I want to meet her soon. She sighed again, thinking of the stories she had heard. The exam I took with my friend, the hut I searched for in the middle of the night during a storm. I, who have only ever listened, finally have stories of my own to tell. Of course, I can't tell the Archbishop any of this, she thought wryly. If Verdio, who preaches purity above all, heard about the incidents at the academy, she shuddered. How the top students stormed the dorms and destroyed them. How a fallen noble got caught in a murder case. If Verdio knew, he'd force me to leave the academy, even now. It's always hard to refuse Verdio's words. It's not because he's the master of mind reading. Perhaps it's because mind reading is an ability that falls under the holy magic category, but it doesn't work on me. Ever since I was young, he has been like a teacher to me, so that's why it's hard to refuse him. Belle Maya held Saintess Clarice's soft, delicate shoulder and said, "I think you can eat comfortably, Saintess Clarice." Saintess Clarice replied, "Oh my, was it obvious that I was nervous?" She then thought to herself, "Well, it's fine for now. As long as I follow the condition that if another student discovers my identity, I must give up my student life." Wait, Ed Roth Taylor. Of course, it doesn't seem like he would reveal anything, but what if Verdio and Ed Roth Taylor meet? Belle Maya started to sweat and asked, "Saintess." Saintess Clarice, also sweating, thought to herself, but what if Verdio somehow finds out that Ed Roth Taylor knows my identity through mind reading? As she trembled, Belle Maya hesitantly asked, "Should I make you a cup of tea?" Saintess Clarice quickly replied, "No, it's fine. But I have a request. Help me prepare to go out." Belle Maya hesitated. "We don't have much time." "Where?" Saintess Clarice softly answered, "Ed." She looked at Belle Maya. Her face flushed as she began to sweat. "Ed Roth Taylor. I think I'll calm down if I meet him. I need to meet him right now, as quickly as possible." Belle Maya was shocked and confused. "Pardon?" Saintess Clarice thought to herself, Belle doesn't understand why. Frustrated, Belle Maya muttered, "Is that so?" She thought about the many girls in Ed Roth Taylor's life, and then to herself, but she didn't want to let Ed and the Saintess meet. Thank you so much for watching. That's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to help me grow my channel. Your support means the world to me. Don't forget to leave a comment below. I love hearing from you. Let's keep the conversation going and get those analytics buzzing. Until next time, take care.